this idea. What I wanted to do is, I had some knowledge already working on with the digital collaborator, and I had this notion of making a portrait of Balthus as a kind of manifestation, not showing Balthus, but showing his work and maybe his history. And it started off with the model, Catalina Parrish, her name is. And I found this bodysuit in Albuquerque at a place that sells party gear and clothes, you know. Stores like this, whatever. And it turned out that the whole suit was like this. And I said, well, is it one size fits all? And I said, this woman is big. She said, it's going to fit, it's going to fit. So I was afraid she's really going to stretch the whole thing out, so I had it made up. And then when she put it on, I was working with two hairstylists who cut my hair, who have a shop in Santa Fe, two gay guys, and they couldn't get over her body. I mean, after the guy saw her, the older guy, I thought was going to be converted. I mean, it was getting close. Anyway, she's holding this vase, which I had made in Albuquerque. Right? And we drilled the holes out before that. And I tried to get this water that you can photograph with strobe, but no, couldn't do it. This was drawn in by the compositor. I rented this chair, this is one of our cats, and it took this, of course it's called the King of Cats, so this is Balthus. And the relationship with the Mona Lisa, this is the Mona Lisa on top and the model's face below, so there's a fusion. And if you compare this with the actual Mona Lisa, you can see the change. And it's very, very human, it's very, very nice. But Barbara had to give this cat an injection, one of our cats, called Pancake, because the face is big like a pancake. And it just about killed her. I think she aged about 5 years. And this is a model, one of my painters, and she's posed as one of Balthus's works called The Awakening. And so there's this connection between the classical to the very, very real, as far as the Balthus's love of the ingenue, the young girl, the young beautiful girl, who I wrote about this, is that she's somewhere between thumb-sucking and illicit sex. And then this is from Lau, one of Balthus's great, great paintings. And he's a painter. But actually, I always thought he was a painter. In the description of Balthus, he calls this the carpenter. And so you don't see his face, you see Picasso, with Picasso's works here. I made that print, put it on the wood, because for me, Picasso has never painted something as profound and raw, now there's bacon, as Balthus's The Guitar Lesson. And so I made Picasso a cripple, because mentally and emotionally he was a cripple not doing that in my book. And then I joined this for the other photograph, this is one photograph, this is the second, of the great, great portrait of Juan Miro and his daughter Dolores. And this is a guy, a Latino man who fixes our engines, you know, the tractors and cars. And then this is a girl, a very small little girl from Vienna who is visiting. And my painter painted this dress. I said, how are we going to make this dress? She said, I'll just paint it on paper. And she painted it on paper, right from the painting. And it worked out great. And when I get the negative again, the scan negative, put it in 8x10, I make a contract, and then I scratch. I do everything I have to do. And this print is just so very elegant and risky, and I really love it. This is called Life is an Invention, Balthus. This is called Cameraless Camera, and the beginning point for this, besides being the retableau from that book, was Bernard's great personal photographs. They've been reproduced very often, but Bernard loved photography, especially when he was using those cameras that were very, very handmade, that were very optically very problematic. And in one of his photographs, you have this huge shape, looks like a lens. And actually, the collaborator actually drew this in, drew that in. And I photographed this at the University Park in Bogota. And she was the same model as the model in the little collage. And she looked like a Degas. I wrote this, but I just had it translated into Spanish. I wrote my own kind of retablo. And basically it's about this tree. This tree talks about the fact that at night once in the change of seasons, he had seen Degas talk to a woman dressed only in gloves, black gloves. And so that's why they're represented that way. Occasionally, just for nature alone, not for humankind, but the ascension takes place. So I got this model. And originally, I chose this guy. It took me about 4 days to choose this guy with a very beautiful face. But what I did is that I didn't want to show the face because it's not mysterious. So every time I make this print, it takes me about 15 minutes to expose it. And then by the time I get to the phase, another 7 minutes or so after I process it, after it's hypoed, I have to bleach this. If I bleach it too much, I blow it. So I generally have to make one print of every 4 works just to see enough face. And what it tells is that she, the Degas, in a very contemporary way, is like Magdalene trying to touch Christ, dressed as a gardener after the resurrection. And this is actually 2 pieces of sculpture that we had put together with a lot of hardware that was covered with this form. And this wasn't the face of the original model. He actually drew this face. He drew the lines over a woman that we photographed. A very, very beautiful woman. I'll be photographing her in the future too. And this is a Belmar I took with me. And I got the frame in Bogota for it. And the whole thing is a very, very, for me, this and the scale, and also, I should say that the other 2 images from Bogota represent something that is, there's a reference there that doesn't come immediately from the camera. And that's what I like about this work. It's something that is studied, it's felt very, very deeply, it's presented in a way that you don't know if it's camera generated or not. But that doesn't matter because it's the experience and hopefully the profundity of the change of reality from what a person is viewing to what they're getting from the image that basically is about history and belief and confrontation through photography.